Hi.
There we are. Hi, Mike. How are you?
Great.
Okay.
Wait a second. I need to change it into
Sure.
change into my computer.
Sure, no problem.
But I remember that I downloaded Zoom in my computer, but it doesn't show that, so I need to use the website one.
Oh, okay, no problem. If you need to use Zumu in the future, we can do that too.
Okay. Yeah, because I download that in my computer, but not this, not Zoom.
Okay, no problem. Do you want to move to Zumu or do you want to download?
Oh no. I mean, I'm nearly getting to
Okay, yeah, take your time.
the code is 1990.
Yes.
Okay. Wait a second. Wait. Okay. It will get in soon.
Are you going to switch over to your computer or?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, there we go. I'm going to.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. We're good. How are you today?
Oh, wait a second. I need to put my iPad. Okay, I am here.
Excellent. Okay. So we are doing It by Stephen King. You chose this novel, right?
Yes.
Okay. Tell me why you chose it.
Because what I remember about this is that I think I watched the movie of this book, this novel.
Mm-hmm.
And also it fits with my my level.
Okay. Yeah. Good. And
Yes.
okay. Have you read the book before?
I just read the first two chapters.
Good. It's quite a big book. It's 1,050 pages or so. It's quite big, but don't worry, we'll be taking it in small chunks. And after every lesson, besides this one, for homework, your assignment will be to read one chapter. So you won't be reading a lot of chapters at once, okay? I'm really glad you chose this book. You've watched the movie. The movie has two parts, the new movie, yeah. Now they've changed a lot in the movie compared to the book.
Few versions of the movie, and
yeah.
I don't know which one is true. Because I didn't read the last part of the novel, so I don't know which one is true. And there's two parts. One part is one version is like they become teenagers, like 18, 17, and the other book like it's the same age as the novel started.
Okay, there are two different versions. Yeah, there's the 1980s version of the book, I think, of the movie, and then there's the new one, like 2018, 2017 version.
The 2008 or 17 version I have watched that.
Okay,
and
good.
The other version I only watched the last part, the last part where they fights with the whatever thing. I don't know
creature. Yeah. Yeah, both versions are great. The older version is closer to the book than the newer version, but again, the book, they change things in both movies, so it's good that we're reading the book. It's one of my favorite books. It isn't just a horror story, so what we'll do first is let's just get started with just the word it. when you hear the word it, what does it make you think of?
It's not. We don't know what gender it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good.
It can be a woman or a man.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's an important point. It's genderless. So when we use the pronoun it, we use it for things, for animals, but also for creatures or things that we don't know which gender it is. So it could be
Yeah.
male or female. You're right. We're not sure of its nature. And then just the word itself, when you say it is coming. It's kind of used to create fear in horror books and horror movies. I don't know if you watch a lot of horror movies.
I actually I just went to a place with many actors of I mean actor acting like a ghost or
Uh-huh.
like I don't know how to say that word, zombies.
Okay.
Uh,
Was it
I
like
just
a,
I just went there the the day before yesterday,
okay.
and last night and the night before last night is horrible.
Yeah. Hold on. Did you go to like a horror house where you have to walk through and
Yeah,
zombies
yeah,
are, oh,
and
that's cool. Okay.
it's pretty famous, that place.
Okay, cool. Well, maybe don't read this book at night. Try to
No,
try to
no,
read it during the day.
actually, it's like everyone says that there's a famous saying in
Mm.
Chinese, and it's very popular in on the internet. It says that if you're lonely,
Mhm.
you want to feel safe and want to interact with people, you can watch a horror movie at night, and you will find that there's people anywhere.
Yes, there's people. That's a good quote. I like that.
A- and today, when I'm staying in my house on my own, what I found that is whenever there's a sound, I whenever there's a sound, I think that's a ghost. That makes me really makes me feel horrible. My God.
I
Like
know. I have the same reaction for watching horror movies or even reading horror books. It feels like there's always some noise going on in the house
yes,
that
it's
I can
like,
hear.
and I can hear it. It make me feel really not comfortable.
I know. I know. Ignore it though. That is just our minds
Yeah.
reflecting what we've watched. So don't worry. Um,
Whatever you are afraid of, that may happen.
and I'm glad you brought that up because this book is going to deal a lot with fear.
Fear, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Because yesterday I'm explaining to my mom that about this movie and this
Mm,
book. It's like I think it emphasizes the fear, emphasizes the people's fear, and
mm.
whenever people are not afraid of something, something will disappear.
There we go. There we go. It emphasizes human fear. Some of the themes that we'll look at is human fear and then also human imagination, which creates fear.
Yeah.
There we go. All right. So let's just do a quick overview. At the moment, the genre of this novel is horror. It was published in 1986. And what's important to remember is that it's told by a third person omniscient narrator. Now, the perspective shifts between the main characters. So you have maybe Beverly, right? You've got so many different characters. We're getting the perspective from all of these characters, but it is a third person omniscient narrator. Um, an omniscient narrator, have you read a book that has an omniscient narrator in it?
Missionary. What does that mean?
Okay,
Missionary.
so omniscient means all knowing, almost like a godlike narrator, which means that the character or the person narrating the book knows everything about all the other characters.
I think that's what third person narrator is like.
Not all person narrators are omniscient. Some of them are semi omniscient. They know a lot, but they don't know everything. But when it's fully omniscient, they know everything.
Okay. So is Harry Potter a narrator like that?
Let me try to remember. I've read all of the books, but that was a long time ago. I believe it is a third person omniscient narrator. Yeah,
Yeah, I think
yeah,
so
yeah.
because yeah.
So we've got the same one here. And then what we'll be going through as well is the interludes. So this book has about 5 interludes or kind of breaks from the book that aren't really chapters, but they are written by or expressed by Mike Hanlon, which is one of the characters in the Losers Club. And so what he does in these interludes is we switch from a third person narrator to a first person narrator, which is Mark, or who is Mark. And he tells us about the town of Derry. You'll find these interludes interesting because Mike is the only character that stays in the town his whole life. So that's why we have these.
Oh, is the Mike the black man?
Yes, he's the African American character. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. And then regarding the tense, the entire novel is written mainly in the past tense, but the Derry interlude sections where Mike is talking are in the present tense. Everything else is in the past tense.
Okay.
All right, and then we have established that, the pronoun it is genderless. It can be male, female, but it refers to this kind of prehistoric creature that is interdimensional, and it lives under the sewers of this town called Derry in Maine, in the United States. The special thing about it is that it basically changes, it's a shapeshifter, right? It changes its form to fit whatever scares you most. So if you're scared of dogs, it will turn into a dog. If you're scared of clowns, it will become a clown, etc. And basically, it has been there ever since the city has been there, and even before. It's been there forever. And the thing is, only a few of the citizens, and those are the kids actually recognize that it is there. Everyone else either doesn't know or ignores the situation. We'll talk about that. There's a theme in the book called ignorance, ignoring something.
But how can they ignore them? Ignore them if they notice them and maybe afraid of them?
Well, this town has become complacent, meaning they don't want to pay attention to anything bad. So whenever something bad happens, they pretend it didn't happen. They ignore it, which is a type of, it fits into the theme of evil. So if we think of evil, remember that quote, I'm sure you've heard of it. It goes something along the lines of, we don't have to, it's not a problem that evil people exist, but the problem is when good people are silent. So when good people do nothing to fight the evil, that's a problem. That's a type of evil in itself. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So ignoring evil is also evil. And this town, you will see, has perfected its ability to ignore evil. Even when children disappear, they kind of just move past that.
That's so evil.
Yeah, it is. It is. And keep in mind also that Stephen King wrote this book as kind of a small, Derry is like a small United States of America. So he used this tiny little town to describe problems and social problems, political problems, etc., in the entire United States of America. So we'll get that perspective as well.
Okay.
Okay, so let's check in here with this. So we start in 1958, where there is a shape-shifting creature killing children in this town. It has happened before. It's going to happen again. But in 1958 in the book, there's a group of 7 kids, and they're called the Losers Club, basically because they're all kind of social outcasts.
Yeah, kind of like that.
Yeah. So they confront it, they almost kill it, but they didn't actually when they were kids. And then we move on to 1985, where they are grown-ups and they come back to the town of Derry 27 years later to try to finish the battle.
So the version of 1980s is correct.
The 1980s is when they are adults in the book.
I mean
The movie,
version,
yeah,
the movie that is published first is correct, not the
it's
second.
yeah, it's closer to the book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what about
Although
the creature that is what is a quick creature that is being killed the first time?
oh, you mean the clown creature?
No, I mean in the first version of the film,
Mhm.
the last one is the creature, the big creature like a
Spider?
spider
Yeah.
is killed, but
Yes.
but the clown I think is still present.
So it is a shapeshifter. So it can become a clown, it can become a spider, it can become many different things. And at the end, it's a spider. It turns into a spider that has eggs. So it becomes female in the end,
And is killed,
and it's killed. Yeah.
and the people are saved.
The people are, well, actually, the town is completely destroyed
The town is completely destroyed.
in the book. Yeah.
How?
Um, well, basically, there's an entire very big storm happening at the same time that these kids who are now adults are killing it. Once they kill it, the town starts to fall apart because of this storm. The reason for that, you'll find out, is because it has been controlling this town forever, and all of its energy is in the town. So when you kill the creature, the town dies with it, which means the evil disappears with it.
So the seven the seven boys, the 7 kids are powerful.
Yeah, they are very powerful. You'll find out why they're powerful as children, and as adults, they were actually weaker, and they have to remember their childhood selves. There's a lot of information in this book about the strength of being young, the strength of being a child versus an adult.
Yeah, it's like when you become an adult, there's so many things you need to think about. But when
And
you're
yeah,
a kid, you only think about like what should we eat, things like that, not like love, career, things, etc.
right, you're not bothered by those ambitions. And when you're a child, your imagination is much stronger, your belief is much stronger.
So you're much brave.
Your imagination and your belief in things. Like you, if you're when you're a child, you believe you can do something very strongly. But when you get older, you kind of start to lose that belief, and you get more afraid.
Okay.
Right.
I- i-
Okay.
Is
Mhm.
is this person English or is Stephen King English or American?
American writer.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got some, we'll just go quickly through them. We'll go in depth later, but some of the themes in this book are evil. Obviously, evil in terms of it is evil, but Stephen King is going to talk to us a lot about evil in regular human beings, evil in all of us. And that evil is what we talked about, indifference. So seeing something bad happen to someone else and just ignoring it. That's our problem as human beings. And then he also talks about fear. Uh, oops, Something's going on with the screen. Okay, there we are. So fear and the way it can dominate our lives and kind of put us in this box, or how we can break through it using imagination.
Okay.
And then imagination. So it's really cool, you'll see in the book, but imagination is our source of fear. Like you said, when you're watching a horror movie, you're imagining these different sounds in your house. But if we can imagine the fear, we can also use our imagination to defeat the fear. So he talks about that. Now, you've seen the main characters in the book. We've got Bill, who is the
Yes.
leader. Beverly is the girl. Ben, he is the fat kid who loves
The
Beverly.
Beverly is it the person who is who the other girls don't like?
Yes.
Oh, they think that she likes to do some other things with all the boys.
Yes, and they are, well, she's not, she likes to
Play with boys, but not
play. Yeah.
She
She
just
likes
don't
to,
do things with other boys.
yeah. I mean, it's 1958. At that time, girls usually wore dresses, you know, and bows in their hair, but Beverly is more of a kind of tomboy. She's not very much into dresses. She likes playing outside. So yeah, the girls don't like her. And then we have Ben. I don't know if you remember Ben. He is the
the one likes Beverly.
yeah, the one that likes Beverly.
I remember in the film he kissed her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's loved her ever since they were kids, and he was a chubby kid. Okay, then we have Richie, who is the one that always tells jokes. He's always making jokes about the other kids, about himself. He's just always being silly. Eddie, the one with the aspirator for asthma.
No.
You don't remember? Okay, he's the kid with the inhaler. He has breathing problems. He has asthma. And unfortunately, Eddie is actually killed by it. And then we have Stan. Stan is an interesting character. He's maybe the weakest in the group. And when he is an adult, he commits suicide. So he's not there to help them fight it. And then we have Mike, who is the African-American child who grows up to be a historian, which is really important. And he's the one that calls all his friends and says, you need to come back to Derry.
Is it because it kills people again?
Yeah. Children have been disappearing again. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Then some motifs we have, some things you'll see recurring in this book. A lot of times are water pictures, like photographs, and the color orange. So you'll see a lot of storms, a lot of canals, rivers, sewers, drains, just anywhere there's water. Photographs are going to be very interesting because when we look at a photograph, it's like a moment in time, but it manipulates the photographs. It makes them move and change, and it makes the people in them start to move. And photographs are a way.
And when I remember in the film that when they're watching, looking at the photos, the person of one person's mother becomes it.
Yes. Well, I'm going to tell you right away, the parents in this book are terrible.
Yeah, they think their kids are crazy.
And they're terrible parents. We have abusive parents. We have parents who try to control their children completely.
And they don't allow the children the child to play with that group. There's one mom one mom of the person in the group don't allow him to play with them because she thinks that when they play with them it will hurt him.
Exactly. That's Eddie's mom, the kid with the asthma inhaler who has problems breathing. His mom is extremely controlling of him.
Okay.
Yeah, good. And then we have the color orange. Orange is everywhere, basically, and orange is its essence. Basically, if we took it and we gave him a color, it would be orange. So we see orange in the Derry High School letter jackets, their jackets that they wear to school. His hair, or Pennywise's hair, the clown's hair is orange in the book. Buttons are orange. And orange is not a positive color in this book at all.
But why is it orange instead of other colors?
Well, that's a good question. If you think about Halloween in the United States, I'm sure
Yeah. It's filled with orange things.
filled with orange. So it's a scary time of year. Orange seems to be a color that evokes fear.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, Stephen King, he is an American writer. He has written a lot of novels, a lot of horror, suspense, fantasy novels. And basically, as a writer, he's very interested in the theme of evil. And not just evil as in a monster evil, but how evil exists in human beings. That's what he's very interested in. So if we look at the years here, which is interesting, in 1741 in Derry, all of the Derry settlers disappear. And we know this is because of it, right?
But this year, but how about in which chapter does it show that in this year all the people are?
When we start reading the interludes, which Mike tells us about, Mike is the one who's a historian. He works in a library, and he is always reading these very old books and records about Derry, and he finds out that it has been there many, many years before, from the beginning.
But if all the people are disappeared, who will keep the records?
Who keeps the records? The people who survived and then rebuilt Derry.
It said that all the settlers disappeared.
Yes, but someone recorded it.
Someone outside?
Someone, perhaps some of the settlers, they all left, right? Disappear can mean leave. But there is someone who is recording this incident. So we have people coming back and resettling Derry.
But why don't they tell the truth about this incident to other people when they come?
You'll find out about that through the book. One reason is fear. And the second reason is evil. We're going to ignore anything bad because we just want peace, and we don't want to deal with, things that scare us or things that we think we can't deal with. So we'll just ignore them.
Why aren't they be killed?
Who?
The people who are not care about these things.
Well, because they're no threat to the creature, to it. If you ignore it, you're not a threat to it. Basically, he controls all of these people. He doesn't control the kids, though, because they're young and they're awake and they can see that there's a problem and they want to do something about it. Anyone who's just like, whatever, I'm just going to live my life, I'm not going to pay attention, is already controlled by it. He doesn't need to kill them. They're kind of like his puppets.
One more thing.
Uh-huh.
In the film, I remember the teenager.
Uh-huh.
There's a teenager, I don't know who that is. Use a knife that is received from it and killed his father.
That is Henry Bowers, yes. He's one of the bullies in the book.
But you said that the adults are controlled by it. So why did he still wants the teenager go and kill him?
Evil. So there's two types of evil in this book. The first type is evil that is created by it, like Henry Bowers. Henry Bowers has had a difficult home life. His father abused him, his father killed his brother, and then Henry kills his father because he kind of just went crazy. So he's had a very terrible home life. And what Stephen King is saying is that if you have a bad life at home as a child, it's easier for you to become evil.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Lot of sense.
Yeah. All right, well, let's jump into, all right, our plot diagram. So in every novel, we have our introduction, we have our rising action in any book, we have our climax, which is kind of the top of the book. It's, yeah,
I know this.
all right, falling action and resolution. So here we go. Let's take a little overview of the novel. You can go ahead and read this if you'd like.
Yeah. Introduction. It kills Georgie, who is Bill's brother in 1957, and then kills many more. The rising action. Losers Club forms under Bill Denbrough's leadership. The losers confront and injure it in its underground lair. What does injure mean?
Injure means hurt, hurt badly.
They hurt. Yeah, I know there's a underground layer.
Mm.
Is it in the water?
It's always in the sewers, right? Under the city.
Oh yeah, I know. I look at the film. Most of the losers leave. Yeah, this one leave the dairy and forget their childhood. The losers return to Derry when it resumes killing in 1985. The losers regain their memories and confront it again. Bill Denbrough kills it under a magic ritual. How did he kill it?
It was called the Ritual of Chud, basically an old tradition that they learned that in every culture there is an it. There is this evil force. And they took from different cultures these traditions of how to kill this evil creature.
Okay. A violent storm destroys most of downtown Derry. The surviving losers resume their lives and forget the past.
Twice now.
What do you mean?
Well, first they're kids, right? And then they leave Derry and they completely forget everything.
They forgot their childhood, remember it, and then forget again.
And forget again. Yes. Yeah. Okay, let's jump into our themes. Okay, so what is a theme in literature? How would you describe it?
Theme? Fear.
Okay, good. But what is a theme?
Wait a second. I'm looking at the picture.
Yeah.
Why does that says that the lovers?
Well, because this guy here, Eddie, he got his arm broken actually by a bully, and they wrote loser, right?
Yes.
Which was a bad word to call him, and they changed it into lover to make it better.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
A theme is like central idea.
Mm-hmm. There we go. It's a central idea.
The main thing that's the whole passage wants you to talk about.
Exactly. The main idea. Excellent. And keep in mind that works of literature can have more than one theme. They can have many themes if the writer wants. And once you identify a theme, it can really help you, if you're going to write something, develop a story, but also you as the reader, it can help us understand the story better. Okay, so common themes throughout all of great literature, love, revenge, coming of age. This is also a coming of age story. I don't know if you've heard of that phrase, coming of age or Bildungsroman.
Oh, okay.
So when you have a story about children learning how to grow up, that's a coming of age story.
Okay.
Okay, so this book is also that, because these children are slowly getting into their teen years. They're trying to figure out a lot of things about themselves, their home life, relationships, friendships, everything. Okay,
Oh,
human fear is one of the themes that we talked about. So the main thing with it is that it takes on the form of your worst fear. Whatever your worst fear is, it shows up to you as that. The reason that it does that is because we have, as humans, have particular individual experiences and individual fears. And sometimes we aren't even aware, we don't even realize what our greatest fears are. So you'll see all this in the book, but for example, Mike experiences fear. He sees fear as this giant bird, but he doesn't know why he's scared of this giant bird trying to attack him. But the creature, knows why. Because when Mike was a little baby, a bird attacked him in his stroller. So that's why Mike is afraid of birds, right? Sometimes we don't even know why we're afraid of something, and usually Stephen King is saying it comes from childhood. Something bad may have happened to you when you were a little kid, and now you're scared of it, even though you don't know it. So let's think about this one. If you were a character in this book,
yes.
what would it use to scare you? Which form would it take? What do you think?
My fear. My fear?
Yeah, like,
So fear is like a fear to one thing, or fear to one person, or fear to one eye.
what would be your biggest fear? Like, Mike's biggest fear is a huge bird. Eddie's biggest fear is a leper, which is a very sick person, because Eddie is afraid of sickness. He's
Oh,
afraid
I
of
know.
getting sick.
I know. Yeah, the person with so many bandages in his.
Yes.
What Bill? Oh, his brother.
Yeah.
So the thing, what do I hate? I don't know what I hate.
That's good. You might not be, maybe you don't have a huge fear.
Fear. The most fear thing is I'm afraid of anything that can kill myself.
All right, death. Yeah.
And also I'm afraid of like ghosts or something.
Supernatural. Okay. Good. Good.
Yeah.
Those two are common fears. I'm afraid of the same things as you are. They're very common fears. So for you, it might turn into something supernatural, like a ghost appearing, or like the Grim Reaper. Have you heard of the Grim Reaper?
Yes.
Okay, so
Mm,
that
mm.
in the West is like a symbol for death, right? So very good. All right, then we have imagination, another huge theme, and I want you to read what Stephen King says about the imagination. You can see his quote here. Go ahead and read the quote.
The imaginative person has a clearer fix on the fact of his or her fragility. The imaginative person realizes that anything can go dis atrociously wrong at any time.
Okay. So if you have a good imagination, you can imagine things going wrong all the time. Right?
Right.
So it's great to have a good imagination. It's also very difficult.
Yeah, if you imagine so too much, imagine things that is maybe true, that will be hurtful.
Yeah. Yeah. You have people who are too imaginative. For example, they're too scared to get on a plane because in their minds they've imagined, okay, so something's going to happen with the wing of the plane, and then the plane is going to go down, and then we're going to end up in the ocean, then we're going to die. All of this imagination, right? That
Yes.
creates fear. It can be very difficult. So what he's saying is imagination creates fear. And that is shown by its ability to change into whatever thing scares the character the most, right? But what Stephen King in this book is trying to show us is imagination is also the medicine for fear.
Medicine for fear.
Yeah. If you use your imagination.
What does medicine for fear mean?
It's like the antidote. Imagination can cause fear, but you can also use your imagination to fight fear, to remove it.
Okay.
Right?
You can imagine something like maybe a gun or an imaginary thing can kill the